sounds of greatness.
Ooh, kill 'em.
There we go. There we go. What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Good.
All right, perfect. I'm actually using a computer this time, not just my phone. Sorry, guys. I had to deal with a service call. It's not called the work grift for nothing.
Yeah. You had some work stuff going on.
Yeah, it's not called the work grift for nothing. Only thing is, I guess this camera on the computer, I'm going to have to figure that out because it whites out my background. You can't see behind me, right? You can't see the city.
No, I can't see the city.
Yeah, it's all whited out, right? It's all good though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the Work Grift. I am Cannon Hotep. Alongside me is my man Jay Pylon. What's going on, Jay?
What's good with the Cannon? How you living?
Can't
Over there
complain.
working, trying to maintain.
Yeah, trying to maintain, bro. Man, so I didn't give this what's his name? Jordan Neely. Yeah, I didn't. We touched on it for 2 seconds yesterday, but I never really looked into it, right?
Yeah. Did you do some looking?
Yeah, I did some looking today, and
Okay.
also I was looking at some of the stuff that was going on Twitter as far as the gaslighting on both sides.
Man,
You know what I mean? It's
they're
crazy.
not really
right?
being sensible at all about it, are they?
No, not at all. They're not really being
I can't
sensible
even
about it.
Right. I can't. You can't argue with these clowns and weirdos because they've already made up their minds, predisposed. They've got their own little judgments that they've come conclusions, and all of it's hypocritical and pick and choose. It's the typical nonsense that you see from both sides, like you say. Because we're gonna call it, over here, we're gonna call it straight down the middle, like we see it.
Straight down the middle.
Try to be as objective and non-hypocritical as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got people on one side, oh, that white man lynched this black man on the train, and then on the other side, you got, you got to see his rap sheet, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So
meanwhile, what you got? Meanwhile, you got the Latino man recording it with his camera. He's not jumping in. You got what was the other? I don't even know what the other guy was.
The other dude was either he was saying he was
guy too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a black dude.
A black guy hold him down too.
Yeah.
So it just goes back to that pick and choose nonsense.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's pick and choose, man. Everybody, it's grifting season. It's grifting season, guys. They want to make him the new George Floyd. That's what it sounds like. However, let's start off by saying this: it's tragic, no matter how way you look at it, right? You know, it's a sad set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sad set of circumstances. So what's alleged is that this guy got on the train. He took his coat off. He was being irate. He slams it down. Allegedly, he says, "I'll hurt everybody on here." And he proceeds to say how tired he is being homeless and he's hungry and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy part is we have no footage of that.
Footage of all that. And then supposedly he said, "I'm ready to die. This is it.
I'm ready to die. This is it.
Okay.
I'm ready to die." So, but we don't have any footage of that, which I find hard to believe because everybody records everything.
They got their phones out at all times. Ooh,
Got their phones out
at
all times, just in case they get that world star moment.
I'm telling you, yo, Cannon, I think some of these cats is just sitting on the train recording all day, just waiting for stuff to pop off.
It's New York City. Something going to happen. It's New York City. Something going to pop off, bro.
Like they said, the guy that was recording, Jesus, that was recording. I think his name was Jesus, right?
But he's a journalist allegedly.
See, but he's writing. See, like you could be writing, you know, just like they talked about Gonzo journalism back in the day. They had this back in New York City back in the day and in California, where you would have journalists go around ready to take those shocking pictures for the tabloids and for the newspapers to be the first ones on the scene at the crime scenes, right? So they would roll on the trains and they would have their cameras back then, you know, they'd have the big old Bokeh cameras ready and they'd be out there click, 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 you know, and you can go back and look at those. Like from the 60s and 70s, you see they had the Saturday Night Special where they were killing people, you know, it was a lot. It was a big death toll. Remember there was this heat wave back in the day. So, I mean, it goes back to that of these people being ready with their cameras. And I'm feeling like a lot of these people out there are just, you know, ready to post these pictures so they can get that clout, so they can grift off of different things. So they're recording a lot. So where's the first part of the footage?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. I want to see what led up to that moment, right? We all want to see what led up to that moment because the other one has no context. We just see the guy in a rear naked choke, right? So apparently it took 15 minutes for the police to get there. So they were holding him for 15 minutes where he appeared to be breathing and stuff like that, right? But like you said, I want to know what led up to them having to feel like they had to restrain him. We got K Stacks with the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate you paying my dues. Hotep and Build, I hear that. K Stacks is coming to Hotep Con. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets, man. Use 10%. Use Cannon to get 10% off. HotepNation.com. Hit the Hotep Con tab. August 17th through the 20th at the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. Anyway, so but yeah, so they said it was holding for like 15 minutes. But Steph says I'm planning on calling in the HA stream to talk about that. I worked at Penn Station, New York for years. I can tell you some shit. Everybody, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is everybody's acting like, you know, they keep showing him, like, for example, Michael Jackson is trending on Twitter right now.
I got some esoteric stuff. I broke it down esoterically, so we'll get through all the surface level stuff. Then I'm gonna get into the deep dive. The deep dive esoteric stuff will blow some of y'all away.
We got Brooklyn Way in the building. She says, what's up? But yeah, so Michael Jackson is trending on Twitter, not because of Michael Jackson,
right?
But because of Jordan Neely. He was a Michael Jackson impersonator. And I ain't gonna lie, he's a damn good Michael Jackson impersonator, right? I watched some of the videos, you know. I was like, okay, he can do his thing. But the thing about it is that it doesn't, just because he can dance like Michael Jackson doesn't mean that he's like this virtuous person, right? Now you got the right, they're going, oh, look at his record. Now, what I'll say is that his record will tell you kind of his character or how he is, you know what I mean? If he's a troubled person or not, you know what I mean? However, at the same time, you can't always go with that. I'm like, I don't care what his record said. You got to go with what for this instance, you got to go with what happened in that moment. How was he in that moment? Was he violent in that moment? Was he getting ready to attack somebody in that moment? Or was he just sitting there just making idle threats, but not touching anyone? Those things matter, right? Now, the guy that subdued him, the main guy that everybody's looking at, white guy. He was a Marine. He had him in a rear naked choke, right? The court said he lynched him. He's a murderer and this and that. And everybody's pissed that the police let him go. The thing about it is, if the police let him go after questioning, that tells me, right? That tells me that the police got some shit that we ain't seen yet. Whether it's the actual full span of the footage of what happened that led up to the event happening, or the people on the train corroborating the story of the Marine. Hey, no, this dude was acting a fool. He was getting ready to hit this lady, or he was getting ready to grab this person, so he jumped in. You feel me? Yeah. Because let's not pretend that this shit don't always happen. You know what I mean? Especially in New York. You feel me? So here, check this shit out. Hold on real quick. Here we go. How many people remember this video? This came out like a couple weeks ago, right?
Punk ass. Mother nigga.
Now we don't know what this is, but check this shit out. Grabs the lady by the hair, yanks her down. Everybody's just looking. Everyone is just looking. This lady was mouthing, "Help me." She was mouthing, "Help me." You can see it. And everybody just standing around looking. And apparently this was in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell it is.
They got that
but they got problems.
No, you don't have it. This is what I do.
Is what I deal with.
No.
Ain't try to help whatsoever. Ain't try to help whatsoever, bro. My question is, what do you do in that situation?
Man, the city needs to invest in some private security guard for these trains.
But that's the thing. Like, I would think that the New York subway system, you got a police officer at every fucking stop, right? You would think so. They guard the turnstiles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You probably need an officer or two officers. What's up, P-Dog Knight in the building?
It's not like this issue hasn't been going on since the day they installed these trains.
Exactly.
In New York. It's not like this is brand new.
It happens here in Baltimore to the point where I told my wife I don't want her riding the train no more.
Right.
She's told me plenty of times she's been on the train and somebody got on there acting a whole fool. Whether it's kids
right
acting up and fighting or fucking with people on the train on the way to school, or somebody that's high out of their mind or mentally ill acting a fool on the train. Right? Mm-hmm. The thing is that what do you do in this situation? That the video I just showed you know what all of the comments were saying? Why didn't somebody help that lady? Why didn't somebody step in? All those people are cowards. Right? Now with this situation, maybe Jordan Neely was just making idle threats and he wasn't doing anything, or maybe he is about to do something. But this guy stepped up. Now, am I saying that it's justified that he killed this man? No, of course not. That tells me that, you know, even him being a Marine, like not everybody, but people that know that practice martial arts, right? Rear naked choke. You can easily take somebody out like that, right? Because it's a little bit of pressure to the carotid artery, and you cut that off for like 10 seconds, they sleep. If you hold it for like 40 seconds to a minute, it's a wrap for them. They that's where the brain damage, that's where the forever sleep comes in, right? But when you watch the video, I don't know how long they had that choke in while he was watching the video. The guy was still breathing, he was still conscious, he was still fighting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which begs the question, you know, we need to know, did he have drugs in his system that contributed to this? You know, was he crazy? Because everybody's saying he was mentally ill. Was he? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff that needs to be answered. However, to sit here and demonize the guy who tried to do something about an issue on the train, I think it isn't right. You know,
So you
did
pointed
he?
out
Did,
you pointed out the Twitter pick and choose off the bat because when the woman's story dropped, everyone said, "How come no one stepped in?" When
Exactly.
the man's story dropped, they said, "Why did you step in?"
right.
Which is the pick and choose. So with the man stepping in, you know, a lot of people said, "Why didn't he just mind his own business?" We'll go back into it though. Him stepping in, there's 3 or 4 other people are in that mix of holding that guy down, right?
Yeah.
So, and you hear them saying, "Okay, you didn't play the video just yet, did you?" Or right.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna play it or not. One in the chat if you think we should show the video.
I don't know if you get in trouble for it or not. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's on YouTube.
It involves a death,
it's
right?
on, it's on YouTube, but
or
I don't
he
know.
dies later on. I don't know. But but in the video though, you've got these 3 people holding him down the whole time, and there's people saying, "Okay, let's call the police." So the man, obviously that man, or if they indicate any of those other people that were involved in this, because we're only pointing out the Marine. But if we indicate these other people involved in it, what are they going to say? Obviously, they're going to say we were just trying to subdue him because we felt threatened by him because he said, "This is it. It's time to die." We thought he was getting ready to attack us. We were just holding him for the police to arrive and to, you know, to take him back into custody. And maybe even one of those guys, because we don't know the whole story, maybe even one of those guys was there before when he was arrested. They said the man was arrested 42 times.
Yeah, allegedly he tried to push somebody off the
train, pushed on a woman
off the platform. He tried to push him off the platform. Yeah, you know, but the thing about it is, right? So you got Jimmy Dawes says, "I wonder if drugs were involved or what mental health checks are in his past. Instead of getting help, he will be exploited." Yeah, and that's the thing, right? When you see somebody, and this is for the people on the right, when you see somebody who has that type of record, right, who has that type of history, right, that means the system failed that man.
Thanks.
You got 40 arrests and you still on the street.
Right.
You're not in somebody's facility, you know, getting treatment or whatever. You just still out there. That goes to that bullshit policing they're doing right now. You know what I mean? Where somebody does something dumb or something crazy and then they get let out 24 hours later.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, the system failed this guy long before, you know, this situation happened. You know what I mean? Steph was saying that, what you was calling this, you said the K2 stuff, is that what that shit called, bro?
Oh, I remember that. The spice.
Yeah, that spice, bro.
They had the bath sauce, the spice, the sticks. They had all kind of different crazy stuff. Now they got the fentanyl and the, I don't know what all weird stuff that goes.
Steph said that K2 be having them tweaking to the max. You know what I mean? Because check this shit out. I just and just so people so P Dog, what P Dog say? P Dog said just over a year ago, a Brooklyn Crazy on the train shot 29 people. Think if somebody would have subdued him. Exactly. Remember that shit? The dude came in there with the smoke grenades and started shooting.
Yeah. I mean,
that was in New York.
Was the Buffalo? No, well, not Buffalo, but during the Buffalo incident, right?
It was just after. Yeah, it was on the subway in Brooklyn.
He was in there with the stuff.
So check this out. Just so y'all know, like look at these headlines. Okay. Woman attacked at NYC subway. I needed a police officer. NYPD's latest statistics due little to comfort woman attacked on Brooklyn subway. Stranger drags woman off NYC subway bench in random attack. Woman badly burned in apparent unprovoked New York City subway attack. Where's that thing at? Woman critically injured after face burn. Good Samaritan helps woman 18 escape sex attack on New York subway. Homeless man indicted for allegedly beating a woman in the subway station, impairing her vision in one eye. This was what, September of last year. Man wanted for slashing woman. Connor acting up. Man wanted for slashing woman. Good Samaritan and suspect attack. Anti-Muslim attack on subway. Man slams woman head against Brooklyn subway door in unprovoked attack. Y'all get it.
It's
Y'all get what
endless.
I'm
It
saying?
happens every
It's
day.
endless. It happens every day.
It happens with
And the
such
question,
frequency that most people on Twitter turn a blind eye to it until it involves white on black crime. Then it becomes a problem. But not like it's always been a problem. It's been a problem this whole time.
yeah. Robert Banks says, "What's up, fellas?" In the words of Uncle Hotep, society failed Jordan Neely before he became the talking point. Save the protests and the dead man slander. That's facts. That's facts.
They're coming for it from both sides, like we said. And
Both sides.
We've been saying that this is exactly how it'll go down
Yeah.
because this is the script that they run with. The right runs with what was in his record.
Right.
Aha, see, he deserved it. And then what does the left run with? The same
Yeah, the
stuff.
same thing. Say, oh, it was a lynching.
It was a
lynching.
No, it was a massacre. They're all out to
Right.
get you. Vote for
Right.
Joe Biden.
They zoom in past the dude that looked like me, the light-skinned black man who might be Dominican. You know, they don't look at the fact that the journalist, and not only the journalist, several other people on the train car said that he didn't look like he was in any pain or anything, and that they were waiting for the police to get there.
And that's what's gonna, I don't know, because see, they want to take the Marine and they want to have him locked up with Derek Chauvin and them, right? They want to have him locked up for life. But what happens to these other people involved? And I'm not saying that, like, of course, what he did, I think was accidental to me from watching that video and then watching it again. I don't think that he was trying to kill him.
The thing is, he died, but the thing, he died later at the hospital.
Right. He died later at the hospital, right?
Right.
He didn't die on the spot. He died later.
He died later at the hospital.
The problem though is asphyxiation going on. What kind of breathing trouble does he have? What kind of drugs did he have? Any drugs in his system? That's right. These are all the things that people are hyped up on, the emotionalism rather than the rationalism of the events. And we got to go back to it. You guys, the system that we have in place is not doing anything for the mentally ill. They're not doing anything for locking down and tightening up our protection over our citizenry, right? When we go out, because we're giving massive amounts to the military and to the police, but we see that they're using that for equipment. And you just had the girl sleeping around with 20 other officers on the team. It's like, what are we doing with the funding? Why is Ukraine getting the funding? What's our infrastructure here looking like? And that's where we're falling behind, because it needs to be privatized. Again, the schools need to be hardened. We need to get into privatization of things, and we need to stop looking into all this. And we're not talking about privatization towards you're just an anonymous entity that can do however they please, like what those guards in Iraq were doing. What was that group called? Black? Was it Black? What's it called?
Black? I forgot.
Right. They were running like their own anonymous entity. We're not talking about that. We're talking about hold people accountable. You got to go to jail for the crimes you commit.
Right.
Be sensible with it, because this man was arrested 42 times. He needed help. Where's the help? You're just gonna send him into jail, and it's like we've been saying all along. This is what they do. They put you in. They put you away. Then they let you back out until the ultimate event happens, death.
Yeah, exactly.
Until somebody innocent gets killed, but that person gets killed or somebody else gets killed, and we see this over and over and over again.
Exactly. So Reaction PR says, I thought Mayor Adams said crime was down. I know, right?
Narrative, doesn't it?
they skewing them numbers. Now, what I will say is when it comes to Mayor Adams, right? I had to agree with him today.
What did he say?
You had AOC coming out calling this guy a murderer, right? She's a congresswoman. You had some other official in New York come out essentially calling this the Marine a murderer. And Mayor Adams said, we can't do that. We have to wait until his due process happens. We have to wait until the facts have come out and he's tried in front of the court. Because you know what happens when you got your elected officials already making preconceived notions or start doing stuff like that, it sways the courts, of both public opinion and the official court. So when a grand jury comes up, should this guy go to a grand jury, which I think, to be fair, maybe involuntary manslaughter might be a thing, if it goes, because I don't think he meant to do it. But it's going to be in the back of those grand jurist minds, because AOC called him this. Oh, this person, this official called him this. Everybody on Twitter saying this. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, we don't know all the facts though. All we saw is this one video that they put out of him being choked. We don't know. I'm sure somebody on that train has the full footage, right? Somebody on that train was recording him acting the fool the whole time. Somebody got that, right? We don't know what led up to that. Was he just standing in the middle of the train saying that I'm tired of this, I'm ready to die, I heard everybody being here, but not doing nothing? Or did he do all of that and then he went for somebody and then these people took action? We don't know. We don't know. But to sit here and cast judgment either way is disingenuous.
Right.
I just think it's a tragic set of circumstances, you know.
Right.
I would say that this guy Jordan Neely is a victim of circumstance, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's been incarcerated, he's been arrested and released, charged and released, but nobody's ever put him in a program.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever looked at his record like, whoo, he got a history of this. We gotta put him somewhere. Or do they just not care? What you say, Rob? Robert Banks, what you say? Uncle said, I read it earlier, but you got it word for word. Shout out to Uncle Hotep. It says, society failed Jordan Neely long before he became a talking point. And that's the truth. That's the truth. My question, though, to you guys is what would you do in that situation, or what would you want to happen, right? So given the shit that I showed you guys, right, with all of these attacks, right, because that's another thing that could have been on the mind of these three men who stopped this guy, right? Because let's just be honest, it wasn't just the Marine. There were two other guys helping, right? This shit happens all the time on the train. I just showed you that. It was a girl. It was a girl in Philly who got the R word on the train while the people stood around and watched, and nobody helped her. On the train, bro. These guys ride the train clearly. Maybe they see this shit all the time. Maybe this ain't the first time he acted a fool. We don't know. But the thing is, in a situation like that, what would you want to happen? Let's just take, for example, the one I showed you with whatever that was attacked. The lady grabbed her hair. If that was you or your wife, right, or your kid, what would you want somebody to do? Stand around and just watch that shit happen because they don't want to get sued? They don't want to get prosecuted or charged should something happen? Or would you want them to take action? Thing is, we don't know what happened on that train, and we won't know what happened on that train until all of the footage comes out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't go off of that little bit of footage that's been put out there. Now, the guy that's the journalist, I don't know if he was on the train the whole time or if he was about to get on the train and saw the shit and then he pulled his camera out because he was filming from outside the train. Yeah. So we don't know, but I'm sure somebody got that footage. I'm sure somebody does. Did that guy deserve to die? No, I don't think so. But did those guys or that guy mean to kill him? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, looking at the video footage of just them, from what we have of just them, it doesn't appear that they were trying to attack him. It appears that they were just trying to subdue him. And over again, you can hear them saying, "We're calling the police. We're calling the police." You can hear that over the intercom too, right? In that footage, yeah, right. You can hear them saying, "We're calling the police. We're calling the police." And somebody's saying, "Hold his hand, hold him back," different stuff like that. You can hear little traces of those kind of things. Not kill him. We got him now. Ha ha. We got one now.
Right, stop him
like that. It was not I think that they thought that they were trying to do the right thing, but in doing so, he may have had something in his system and they inadvertently were killing him though in the process.
It could very well be.
Couldn't have been. I don't think his breathing wasn't right at that point.
It could very well be. Thing is that we're not going to know until everything comes out.
Or he was having a panic attack too.
Could very well be too.
That could be the case. Some people just have lots of panic attacks.
I know when I used to wrestle, I hated wrestling, bro. Mm-hmm. I hated wrestling, and I wrestled unlimited. In my little ass in high school, I wasn't little, but like I was 192 pounds, and I didn't want to lose 3 pounds to make 189, or 4 pounds to make 189. We didn't have a 215 weight class. I had to wrestle unlimited. Unlimited stopped at 289 pounds. Now, I did well. I was one of the top wrestlers in the state. I was ranked number 2, despite being undersized. I was handling them big boys, but I'm claustrophobic. Like on my back, I don't like being pinned on my back, bro. I would panic, fucking panic, and my heart would be racing. Feel like my heart coming out of my chest. Yo, I get a headache. I get dizzy, and I was just like, either I'll bench press that man off me and just take the loss because my shoulders touch, or I'll just be like, fuck it, you got me, because I'm losing it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
stuff like that could happen, you know. And when I
could have been claustrophobic too, you know.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until I started doing jiu-jitsu is when I started getting comfortable with being on my back in awkward positions. You know what I mean? But pause on handling them big boys. Come on. But it's crazy though. But to see people, you know, picking a side right now.
Yeah.
Facts come out.
The emotionalism. Yeah, everybody has to get it out.
Yeah.
You know, the right has to get it out. Paul has to get it out. It's them again. You know, it's always the same. It's the same old, you know, cliche of the left, the right doing what they do every single time, rather than trying to approach it right down the middle and say, let's look at this. It's a mental health issue. Yes. Is it could he have been claustrophobic? Yes, you know. Yeah. But we don't get that from those perspectives. That's not the perspectives that gain the clicks and stuff like that from their side.
No, they gotta have the inflammatory words, and then you gotta have the screen grab. You gotta write screen grab. Emmanuel Presley says RP they be the what do you say, RPR they're the first to be marching for justice like that in Selma. See, the thing is,
a lot of people. I mean, I'm just gonna go back to what we said earlier in the last ones. This is Gen Z. A lot of people, right? And they missed out on all that stuff that the grandma and grandpa and great granny were talking about. They missed out on it, and so they have to come up with different new random stuff to say we're marching again for. To be able to feel like they were a part of what, you know, Auntie was talking about, and then we're talking about. And because we see that with whenever we saw the cat from Tennessee, and the way he was adopting the speech patterns from the 60s and stuff like that, despite this being 2023.
Yeah. C-Town 247, is that you, DMW? C-Town 247 says, listening along 100, hit that like button. Yeah, make sure if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Appreciate it. But bottom line is this, Jay. Bottom line is this. If it come out that he was just making idle threats and he was just standing in the middle of the train, not hurting nobody, just acting a fool, and then this guy took it upon himself to choke him out, then yeah, he need to stand trial and answer for that, because it was uncalled for. You know, be ready in that situation, just so what happens, something to just in case something jumps off. But you don't put hands on nobody until you see somebody in imminent danger. Right? You know what I mean? But be ready in that moment. But understand, people, a lot of people are fed up with this crime. A lot of people are fed up with shit happening. I'm not saying that Jordan Neely was about to beat the hell out of somebody, but we don't know. You know, and unfortunately, judging by his track record, it was a possibility. Who knows? You know what I mean? But what would you want to happen in that situation? Let's just say Jordan Neely threw his coat down. I'm ready to die. I hurt everybody in here. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want water and food. And then he rushed at somebody with a knife. You know? Or like the story I just read in one of those articles, he threw a chemical substance, like somebody threw a chemical substance on a lady in the New York subway and burned her face. Or, you know, brutally sexually assaulted some woman on the train while everybody stood around and watched. You know, those are possibilities that could happen when you see somebody unhinged, when you see somebody at their wits' end, when you see somebody who says they're ready to die, they will hurt everybody on here and all this other stuff. You don't know what's going to happen. However, you be ready in that moment. You don't put hands on nobody until you see somebody in imminent danger. That's the only time you put your hands on somebody, is when you see somebody in imminent danger. Oh man, it's just a sad set of circumstances, guys. You know. But you know, the left, they want you to think that he was just some Michael Jackson impersonator who just, you know, was down on his luck and was brutally attacked by some man on the subway. And then the right wants you to believe that he was some savage who was just out to make people's lives difficult. And I say, let the facts come out first. Let the facts come out first. It's sad. Nobody deserves to lose their life. Nobody deserves to lose their life.
That's
Period.
right. No. R.I.P. to I was hearing what you were saying. Yeah, R.I.P. to Jordan Neely. It is sad.
It is. R.I.P. to Jordan Neely, and I really do hope the guy that took him down, you know, or guys, because it was 3 of them, were justified in their actions. If they weren't justified in their actions, then they got to face the music.
Criminal. Yeah, we want to
Simple as
see.
that.
I want to see justice applied, you know, in a righteous manner, righteously, and applied as it's applicable, right?
Right.
And not just due to the court of public opinion,
Right.
And you know, being disingenuous with it.
Yeah. Emmanuel says once you actively attack someone, it's a different story.
Shoot.
But always,
They
he
weren't
says, but when
stomping him
possible, I
out.
think you always subdue. No, they actually just subdued him. They wrestled him, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, they saw they. But the funny part is the way they frame it. They zoom in past the black man.
Yeah. Remember when I don't know
Boom.
if you did you ever see the footage from whenever Malcolm died? Did you see the footage from when Malcolm died? They're interviewing, so they're interviewing the crowds, right?
Mhm.
They're interviewing the crowds, and they're like, "So Malcolm X has just died, right?"
Mhm.
Look on the face of the. I'll send you the link sometime, but look on the faces of the crowd. The crowd is smiling and laughing. Black people and other people, white people. But then what they do is they zoom past and they say, "Look how much they hate us," and they zoom past the black people that are smiling and laughing. The reason that they're smiling and laughing isn't because Malcolm died. It's because they're seeing this is 1962 or whatever, and they're seeing all this fancy visual equipment that the producers and production team and stuff have. A lot of people only back then had radio. They were still transitioning from their black and white TVs, if they even had that, to color TV. And here they're seeing all kinds of fancy equipment. They're smiling about the equipment and about seeing themselves in the monitors. They've
Mama,
never
I'm
seen
on
themselves in the
TV.
monitors. That's right. So everybody's overlooking that and just saying, "Oh, look at the white man out to get us once again. Look at how they're laughing and smiling about the death of Malcolm." Meanwhile, ignoring the fact that you got 5 other black people standing right there smiling and laughing too. Not about the situation. It's context, and that's what people get wrapped up in their emotionalism about. You have time for my little synchronicity stuff? Or you gotta go.
No, you good. Hold on. So before you do that, I'm gonna show the video of Eric Adams. This is the first time I agree with Eric Adams.
Oh yeah. You said that you had something off of him that you like.
Yeah. So check this out. I'm starting to like StreamYard, bro.
Was it working good for you?
It ain't,
Over what's his face?
Yeah, now with the computer that I got,
that's cool.
You know,
appeared to be having mental health issues. This is something that you've talked a lot about. But I think that one of the reasons that this story is really hitting a nerve is because this man appeared to be having mental health issues. This is something that you've talked a lot about. But I want to read to you. This is a response from the comptroller, Brad Lander. He tweeted this: "New York City is not Gotham. We must not become a city where mentally ill human can be choked to death by a vigilante without consequence." There's also this from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Democratic Congresswoman. She said, "Jordan Neely was murdered." What is your response to what they're saying here?
Well, both the Congresswoman and the controller is a citywide leader. And I don't think that's very responsible at the time where we're still investigating the situation. Let's let the DA conduct his investigation with the law enforcement officials. To really interfere with that is not the right thing to do. And I'm going to be responsible and allow them to do their job and allow them to determine exactly what happened here.
I agree with him. You can't be out here tainting the fucking water.
He didn't come in reactionary like we kind of expected him to. So he stepped back and said, let's look at all the facts.
Exactly. I was like, oh shit, I actually agree with this man. I was like, I actually agree with him. You know what I mean? So it's just a sad situation. So anyway, go with your joint, bro. Go with the numbers.
All right. So I think in terms of synchronicity and the year of doubles, this being the year of the black water and the black rabbit, we have it's like a universal showcasing of symbolism here going on, something that could be sacrificial again. So we could have a repeat of something like this happening again that would also involve a black male. Jordan Neely arrested 42 times. There's that number 42 again. I always talk about 42 with the laws of Mayat and the universal number. Life, the universe, and the number 42, like Douglas Adams said. It's also linked to black suffering. You had the 42 years from wandering from Kemet to the promised land. Jordan Neely imitated, let's get back to this, MJ. He imitated Michael Jackson. His name is Jordan. I'm liable to go Michael. Take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, game 6. That's Jay-Z. The Marine accused of killing Jordan is 24 years old. Big L died at 24 in New York on February 15, 1999. Michael Jordan was born February 17, 1963. Big L said, facts on tracks, I recite well. Everybody want to be like Mike, but Mike want to be like L. You have Michael Jordan equaling 42 in gematria. You have Michael J. Jordan equaling 60 in gematria. Jordan is 60 years old. I'm talking about Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson is 56 years old. He was born on 6/30/1966. And it'll be 8,888 days since Big L died. Again, Big L was 24 years since Big L died in this year. And then you have that Marine was 24. So you have 24, 42, game 6, 4 and 2 is 6. I think that in esoteric terms, it's just showcasing that we're going to see some other personality, some other figure passing away soon.
Oh shit! Hope it ain't Jamie, boy.
Sacrificial ritual. That's one of the things I was thinking. You got Jamie Foxx, you got Mike Tyson, you got Michael Jordan, but what other kind of MJ level status do you have, or are we looking at some kind of MJ level status event taking place? And I think it could be any amongst that that degree or level of event taking place. If this is a foreshadowing event, and that's why you're seeing it on Twitter, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. Trending right now. We don't have Prince with us anymore. We don't have Michael Jackson with us anymore, and we don't have Jordan Neely with us anymore. I think that this is that ritual sacrificial thing that we see so often, which is like predictive programming. And whether it's happening because we live in a pre-directed universe, that is that organic things are predestined to happen, like Einstein said, or whether somebody is orchestrating some events, I don't know. But I think that we see patterns. Then you see events happen, and that's how oftentimes the people in the community call things.
Hey, shit. I appreciate that breakdown. I just hope, you got Michael Jack, you said Michael Jordan, you got Michael B. Jordan, you got,
and we had Jonathan Majors taking out the
yeah, that's JM. That's MJ backwards. JM.
And his initials, you go in with Jordan Neely, you get JN. So I'm not sure if we're going to be looking at something just popping up within the next few days, because you have when Big L passed away, it was February 15. When Michael Jordan was born was February 17. So we're looking at, from 99, 63, looking numerically like a time pattern for later on this year, another big passing. And those oftentimes sync up to the past passings of the past. You look at them, they always do this, like, oh, it was 888 days later or whatever, or if it was even the 42. These numbers always pop up like that. Synchronicity, I'm saying.
Not to mention, you said that's your boy Donnie T's favorite number, right? 88.
Yeah, 88 is his favorite number, and you get June 17 would be 8,888 days since Big L died, and you have DA. Was it DA Braggs, right?
Yeah.
He's the one looking into this, and he's the one looking into Trump. So think that this all ties in with something monumentally sacrificial that's getting ready to hit the fan. And I want to say that this also is the same type of stuff we see preceding big events too in the past. Don't forget when the anthrax thing happened after the event, post the event of what was that? Was that the day in September?
Right.
You have two different things taking place that your eyes are like, which way do I focus? Which story is it? And you had the Buffalo. Don't forget that we can't. It's hard to determine, which is which, because from the event you have the Buffalo event and you have the subway event, and they were almost like coinciding with each other. And I'm saying that's where it looks like synchronistically within this year that we're going to see a double event taking place again.
So Phil S, what's going on? Phil S says, I'm not saying it was justified, but regardless of his past, the exercise of the First Amendment isn't a call to murder unless he physically harms someone. And New York doesn't support stand your ground laws. I understand that. I actually agree with you. Like I said, if it comes out that he was just making idle threats and he was just standing in the middle of the which actually, I mean, idle threat wouldn't necessarily be under the First Amendment. That's a call to action, almost like like I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm going to hurt you. That's not covered under the First Amendment because
if he said that,
right? But if he was just making idle threats and he was just standing there in the subway, not harming nobody, just pacing back and forth like crazy people do in the subway. Saying shit like he was going to do something, but not actually doing it, and that Marine touched him and took him down like that, then yes, that Marine has to stand trial for that, because although he was making idle, it would probably be involuntary, because it doesn't look like he meant to kill him, but it would be involuntary manslaughter. He need to stand ground, trial for that, if that's the case. However, if it comes out that Jordan Neely went to go touch somebody, and the Marine stopped him from touching somebody or harming somebody, then the Marine's justified. Now, from like I said earlier, the fact that they let the Marine go,
and those other people let's not forget those other people were putting hands on him too.
Right.
They were touching on him and stuff like that. I don't know if they grabbed around his chest and stuff like that, because we don't have the full video.
Exactly.
But we have to say, why are we letting these other people go too if they were accessory to what was going on in that scene?
Right. Now the fact that they let the Marine go, right? And the other two people might have been detained as well, but everybody's focusing on this one guy. Now, the fact that they let him go tells me, or it leads me to believe that they got something that we haven't seen yet. Either it's corroborating stories, not only from the other two guys that was helping, but other people on that train car, right? Or that journalist who might actually have been on the train. We don't know. You know what I mean? Or they saw the actual footage from somebody else's camera and they confiscated the footage. And they're like, okay, all right, well, we're going to let him go for this. You know what I mean? We don't know yet. I believe that it's going to come out. We'll find out. Like you said, Jay, they never let a good crisis go to waste. They may wait until like January 1st to release that information to gaslight people. You know how they do. They like to use it for their for everything.
Yeah, that was Rahm Emanuel too, right?
Yeah, never let a good crisis go to waste. Steph says he's just surprised he's not behind bars right now. The only way I can see him not being behind bars, they arrested him, but they let him go.
Today?
They arrested him. No. They arrested him or whenever it happened.
Oh,
they took him down for questioning, and then they let him go. They released him. So which tells me that his story was corroborated. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I don't know. I'm just going to assume that it was people on the train car that said, "Hey, this is what went down," or somebody had the real footage other than what the journalist had, and they let him go. But we don't know. And we'll find out. Like Adam said, they're still investigating it. Because think about it. Who's their DA? Alvin Bragg, right?
Yeah, that's what we said.
He was ready to prosecute the bodega owner for stabbing that dude that tried to attack him. Remember? Until the people spoke up. So I'm sure he ready to get himself a white man. But he's if anybody ain't gonna let that shit slide, just based off of that, it's gonna be Alvin Bragg. You know what I mean? So if they saw some shit and it was like, okay, this is what happened, and they released them, maybe they got some footage that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks or months or whatever. You know what I mean? But you know what else is funny? You heard anything else? You heard anything else about that Atlanta shooting?
No, this is it. This is it. This is the story that covers everything. They got it front, they got it front line on on the MS and all that spots. They've got they got the picture of Jordan Neely in black and white, impersonating Michael Jackson, and in big letters Michael Jackson. The little stories around it. You know what the little stories are around it right now?
What's that?
Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson.
Yep.
It's this. What's going on here, people? What's going on here? And then just like we talked about the AOC, the AOC and the Eric Adams comment, like that's the front page that I'm seeing right now. Jamie Foxx, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, Jordan Neely, Eric Adams, the firing of Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson. Again, we live in this is supposed to be the year of the doubles. They double got rid of both of the top two little characters, or you know how they do it. Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson were notable characters over there at their networks. They got rid of them on the same day. So and then we're waiting to see how Jamie Foxx is going to be doing.
Protocol said, nope, he had a black and a vet. Got to shut shit down. You know what I mean? But yeah, Protocol, I'm liking StreamYard. It's good for on the go, right? When I just need a mobile studio, so, and I don't got my OBS. Like usually I carry all this shit with me, like especially when I go to HotepCon. I'm gonna just use StreamYard while I'm there. I don't need to use anything else. This is perfect. I might bring a mic, but that's about it. I don't really need anything else, maybe a soundboard. I got a little mobile soundboard to go with me, so I got my little sound effects and shit. But I really don't need that because I can actually I can honestly load the sounds on here if I really wanted to. StreamYard ain't bad, yo. So question before we get out of here, right? I'm going to show you this video. And everybody in the chat, I want to know what you would do in this situation. I just want to know. So let me give y'all some context real quick. What is this saying? It says, Grandma bought stewed vegetables for her grandson and asked him to hand over his phone and stop playing games. The grandson refused to hand over his phone and yelled and cursed at his family. And they got hashtag mental health issues are rising. China at an evil place, blah, blah, blah. So there's the context. Like he's really ready to attack his grandmother, apparently. Oh, I turned the audio off, my bad.
那些娃太不像话了，真的是往死头打，说话噻。你小娃带去打工啊？
So he pointed at the guy filming, like, bitch, you filming me?
Nah, my take on this was that he looked like he was a little on the spectrum, right? And that so as my understanding goes, there in China you only get a limited, especially I had to have like a limit for the teens and for the other people if they're not clicked on their studies or something like that. If they're clicked over to their video games, the government has like a special app or something like that that can monitor it, like maybe through that Wii chat or whatever, right?
I believe that.
So you're on it only for a limited time. And so the teenagers and the young people, the young adults and stuff like that, to get in their game playing, they can't be on there 8 hours a day. Like they can get in their games or their Tetris or whatever they want to do for just a limited amount of time. So that time becomes real important or real special to them. And so I'm going off of that assumption here. Maybe that's the case here. The young man is a little on the spectrum. He wants his special time on the phone to beat his Pokemon or whatever he's got going on. And it's not registering to him that, hey, we got to get back to the real world right this second. You got to eat your stewed vegetables and help grandma out. And the other people around seem to be, you know, pretty mild mannered about it,
Right.
trying to accommodate the situation and say, hey, young man, you know, she's just trying to look out for you. It seems like that's the case here.
Yeah. So my question is this, right? Because you got a lot of people that, you know, because their kids might be on the spectrum or, you know, have a mental disability, that they can't be disciplined. Right. And I don't think that's the case. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, you know, like my sister, you know, I love my nieces. One of my nieces has autism. She's nonverbal. She has her fits, and my sister corrects her and disciplines her. And she learns from that. Right. And I believe, you know, I don't care like how you know what it is, how far you are on the spectrum or whatever mental disability you have. At a base level, you have the ability to learn right from wrong. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like in that situation, would you discipline your child or your grandchild? You know what I mean? Because they have to learn. Because all that's going to happen is he's just going to get a bigger version of that you got to deal with eventually.
Yeah, he looks like a young adult already. When
Right.
his size, I don't know how old he is, but he looks up there.
Right.
So it gets tougher. I could say that.
Kay says you can't. America and other countries mind your P's and Q's. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's interesting to me because imagine somebody like matter of fact, the story where like it went viral for a little bit where the kid destroyed the lady's apartment.
Yeah.
Like
So
the nigga, like he
away
turned into the Hulk.
Tablets and the
Yeah.
whole place was
Pummeled like a tornado ran through.
right.
It. He broke the toilet. He
Yeah,
broke the
toilet was
porcelain on
gone,
the toilet.
sinks was gone, everything was gone.
Because he was mad that allegedly he was mad that she took his tablets. Some people were saying that he just had a rage fit for something else.
Some people were saying the whole thing was faked for viral clout, but I don't know. This is just what Twitter was bringing
Right.
up. I'm not
However,
sure the facts on
let's
that
just for the sake of argument, let's just say the shit was real.
Okay.
Let's for the sake of argument, she took his tablets and he fucking went on a rage fit.
Mm.
They said he was my size
Dang.
at like 16. He was my size at 16. What do you do to prevent that? You know what I mean? Like, imagine me having a mental illness I'm dangerous.
Mm.
I'm dangerous. So it's like when you got a kid that's, you know, 10, 11, 12 younger, do you discipline that? Do you discipline it, corporal punishment or whatever, spankings, whatever, to prevent that in the future? You know, or how do you deal with that? Do you put your kid in a home? You know, like it's I think that's a hard thing. Like when I put on Twitter as a quote tweet, I said it's just sad. It's sad. His grandmother can't handle him. Luckily, those people was around.
Man.
You know what I mean? It's just like I just want to know, like, what do you do, or what wasn't done for that kid?
Mm.
You know what I mean? To keep him from doing that. Because imagine that same kid, right? Imagine that same kid being by himself on the subway and being mad at somebody and attacking somebody. And then next thing you know, he choked out.
Right. Whew. Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Because at a certain point, mental illness or not, people got to defend themselves. So people got to stop the person, you know, stop that from happening. At some point, they're a threat. So I just be looking at stuff like that, and it's just like, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? I know people have their different ways. I know my mom said, like, you gotta nip that shit in the bud. My mother was telling me, she's like, because you know she old school. My mother about to be 60. She old school. She like, you did that shit. I don't care what was wrong with you. I'd have bust your ass. You know what I mean? She was like, because like she said what I said. She's like, I don't care what mental state you got. You know right from at a base level, you know right from wrong. You know what I mean? And you know, at a base level, you know better. Just like my sister says with her daughter. At a base level, her daughter knows better. She knows she ain't supposed to act up. She knows she ain't supposed to put her feet on her sister. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it might not be like violently. It might just because she's just trying to irritate. But she, you know, she knows she's not supposed to be on the couch or climbing up on certain shit. She got to, you know, she corrects her, you know. And I see Charlie. Charlie knows. She knows. So it's just like sometimes I think like, do you you know, what do you do? Because that's a hard situation to be in. Like my son's on the spectrum, but he's low on it. He's very smart. He just hyper and he learns whatever he wants to learn. You know what I mean? So I gotta like, for me, my correction is I gotta constantly give him verbal cues to keep him on track. You know what I mean? Like today is his birthday. Shout out to my son Hunter. He is 9 years old today.
Happy birthday, Hunter.
And he told everybody that he had a birthday coming up for like the last 2 weeks straight. Every day, 3 times a day. Did you know I'm turning 9?
Yeah.
We're supposed to go to this place called Urban Air today. He doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to Urban Air. You're gonna have some fun. Have a little birthday cake. This is funny, right? So my son, sometimes he just break out preaching sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, what kind of birthday cake you want? He goes, I want a birthday cake with me on it. And he says, like in my football equipment. Then he goes, nah, I want a cross on my birthday cake so I can celebrate Jesus. Like he just does that. And sometimes he break out in prayers and stuff. It's my son, I'm telling you, my son is he's a character, boy. I love him to death. But he's 9 years old today. He went to school swagged out, fresh with his new non-balance 990s. And if you don't know about the New Balance 990s, they're a staple. They're a staple for all Baltimore people. Everybody in Baltimore got a pair of New Balance 990s.
Man.
Emmanuel, you know. What's up? Baggins once said, "Pop say, I'm a yank a knot in your ass." Hey, older parents, bro. They Old Testament, bro. They Old Testament. You know what I mean? I got a cousin. He I guess is mental retardation still a word?
I don't know. I think they're trying to. The buzzwords get switched around so often.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's mentally disabled. You know what I mean? He's 21, but he's nonverbal. He has his fits. And that my uncle he knows what he's supposed to do. What he, you know, a rub on the back that calm him down. But you know, so I don't know. He said DC they use phone posits. See Emmanuel back, but DC got that from Baltimore because we was rocking the phone posits back when Penny first dropped the phone posits, and then DC picked up on the phone posits. Like I used to have every color of phone posits. I used to get them like a couple of weeks before they dropped. You talking what? Back when I was getting them, it was $220 a pair. When it was dropping, I have every pair. Now you gotta have a damn raffle ticket just to get them. I stopped wearing them. I stopped wearing phone posits. Plus, the quality of them ain't good no more. So they kind of phony now. But phone posits used to be the joint. Let's not act like the old school parents are to blame for a lot of today's issues. I don't know. I think a lot of millennial parents are to blame for today's issues. Or Gen Xers. I'll say Gen X parents. I'll say. Like the old schoolers. I guess my mother would be a part of Gen X. I don't know. I don't know the age group is for Gen X.
Yo, it has different cuts off. The who's it, 2000 something? I don't know. I had to go back.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the start for Gen X? I think my mother was the start of Gen X, I guess. She was born in like 65. She ain't a boomer.
41 to 56.
Gen X is 41 to 56.
Yeah,
That's not boomers.
nah. The baby boom generation is from 65, from 1965 to something, right?
So what's after Gen X?
I mean, from prior to that.
So what's after Gen? So what's after Gen X?
Gen Y, isn't it? Gen Y, Gen Z. You have
What?
boomers. You have boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and your next generation that's going to be coming
So
up.
who was millennials?
The
Millennials started at 81, right? So if millennials started at 81,
Mhm.
Gen X was before millennials. I don't know. Anyway, I'm an old head.
You said, I don't know, they were born in the like 64, 65 from Gen X, from 65 to 19, before like 1979, 1980 is Gen X, basically.
Okay, so then my mother is Gen X. All right, I got you now. Yeah. So I think yeah, so it ain't the millennials. I would think like some of the Gen Xers, not the early Gen Xers, but you know, the Gen X, like my age, like maybe just before me, maybe the Gen Xers that was born in the 70s are more of an issue because they try to be their kids' friend too much. You know, and since I'm a millennial, you have to throw some of the early millennials in there too, because they trying to be their friends with their kids. They trying to go to the club and drink and have Instagrams with their kids. They not trying to. They were never trying to discipline their kids. You know what I mean? You got mothers going. What we saying protocol? You got mothers down Orange Crush with their kids. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
They at the Freaknik.
Yeah, they're Freaknik. You know, some of the kids was born at Freaknik. God damn it!
Goodness.
Baggins said these kids are Jen Goober. Emmanuel says one of our big issues with the black community is the overuse of corporal punishment. I agree, right? Like just it, right? I was at a football game with my son, and I'm walking behind this lady. I'm bringing over the refreshments because halftime. What you do? You get the kids some Capri Suns and shit, water. Mm-hmm. So, little boy, he had to be no more than like 2 or 3, bro. First off, she walking all ahead of him. Come on, bring your ass on. I'm like, this nigga 3. And then like he drops her phone, and she gets mad and smacks all living hell out of this kid in the back. Like that's abuse, my opinion.
Out in public,
out in public, bro, and then yanks him by the hand. He dragging his little feet, trying to stand up. I'm like, they spank their kids for every little thing. You know what I mean? My kids get ample warnings before daddy has to. Warnings, 5 warnings, and then like, look, I told you enough times now. Because like I don't want to be that parent that always hitting their kids, especially my daughter. I don't think men should be the ones disciplining their daughters a lot. I'm not gonna say they shouldn't, but a lot. I think the mother should step in and discipline the daughters more than the father should, because you really don't want your daughter being used to a man hitting her. You know what I mean? That's just me. You know what I mean? YV says, gotta add the crack pandemic. That didn't help at all either. That's facts. What'd you say? Emmanuel said they had grandmas at Orange Crush too. Yeah, grandma be 42. Granddaughter 18. The mother like, I don't know, 30 or like 35. Grandmother 58. All of them at Orange Crush getting it in. Nicole B, hello all. What's up, Nicole? Manuel says, my mom never touched me or my sister. We both are college graduates and have never been in trouble. I personally never see the use of hitting a child unless it's severe. A lot of punishment is just. Yeah, it depends on. It depends too also on the character of your kid or the personality of your kid, right? So Emmanuel, you and your sister might have been, mild mannered kids. I didn't do a whole lot of shit. You know what I mean? Y'all might have did y'all stuff and I got like a talking to or a punishment, and it worked for you guys. You got some kids like, fuck that, I don't care. You know what I mean? You got some kids that's really strong willed. And I'm not saying y'all break your kids' will, but your kid gotta respect you too. So you got some kids that like the punishments and the taking away of the TV and shit like that don't faze them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta put that healthy fear into your children. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Fear and respect.
You know, with me, you know how many spankings I got?
What's that?
Well, just take a guess. Let me see where you at.
I don't know. Maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, under. So under less than the fingers on my hand. Less than that.
Yeah, like
you know, from the time I was whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, all the way up. That was it. Because you know, mom and dad would just have a talking to me. My mom would have a lecture that, you know, started off with, see, back in the day, blah blah